Everybody. Hey, we got Will and Dan and Craig, channel members Sergio, Ivan, Svenborn, Donald, Dan, Kevin, Otro, Lieutenant Colonel Goose, John, Cliff, Ted. Good to see everybody. And all the channel subscribers like Ed, Anthony, Larry, Mad, Jan, Kohler, Charlie, Bill, Valerie. Good to see everybody. Whew, what a day, what a day. Tomorrow is market holiday. Be doing, probably come on and talk about crypto for a little while anyway. Sledge, good morning. And Netflix earnings after the close. Right into the long weekend. This will probably set the stage for retail earnings. Retailer for big tech earnings. Thinking one thing, saying another. And, well, it's a bullish chart pattern. Bullish chart pattern. This is, what would I expect? I fired off the entry. Hanging out right here. Pop. Now, earnings add a little extra spice to this. Possibly a pop, possibly a drop. It's entirely possible that we see that. So nothing's given. Nothing's given. And if we go look at, we closed at 961. So if we roll down here, if you didn't know, TradingView now has some options on here. Customize your option chain data here. Oh, cool. They added a new, and keep adding new stuff. So customize what you want to see. Don't really care about that one, that one, that one. Yeah. See all the rows. So we care about the, what's funny here, playing these options today, you can get effed hard, to put it lightly. So when you have no chance to trade these after, like, the trading will stop at the end of the day, but you can still get executed on them till Saturday, even though they have today's expiration on them. Today's the last day they trade, but it's not necessarily when they expire, really expire. Be careful, everybody. They can still execute you. So if you're selling a put or something like that, and that's really cool. They don't have any of the bid-ask data from yesterday. So handy. So we just looking at the price here. Price was 23. There's no way that cannot be correct. The juice on the calls is that much more? Holy bananas. I don't know. Maybe I should go pull up a broker chart. Let's see. Give me a second. Log in. Oh, cool. We're sorry. You've been prevented from logging in by code 942. Whatever that means. All right. Let's see what I can do. See what I can do. And we're looking at Netflix and options chain and today. And there we go. There we go. Logged in E-Trade. Handy dandy. Handy dandy notebook. All right. Price was 961. I roll way down here. So we would set up the, yeah, those prices are way closer. Yeah, something's wrong with. So take the bid, sell the bid on both sides. We'll just go right here. Add the put. That's cool. Not gonna show me the numbers, huh? Thank you so much. So we're adding 28.95. This is the, how do you figure out the expected move on this baby? So 29.55 plus 28.80. Of course, this wasn't right on there, but this is the numbers at the close yesterday. Expecting a $58 move up and down. $58 up, $58 down. Puts the downside right around 900. Puts the upside up at 1100. So we could hit the target all in one go. It's pretty wild, huh? I think it's pretty wild. That's what they're pricing in. So that's what we got. $58 move up and down. So talking about, that was from the close yesterday. So we're talking about 1100 up. I should just use the tool that actually tells me the points, right? So from the close, which was right there, 58 points up would be, I guess not as, 1100, 1000, excuse me. I can't do math this morning in my head. So 58 up and 58 down. There's your up. Here's your down. There's your range based on the option prices at the close yesterday. Now, open it up at 73, moves the box. So, how did I do that? Everybody clear on what I did? This is how you do any, it's not just Netflix earnings. This is how you do any options expiration, all right? Like, where do you expect it to go by the expiration, which is today on this one? You take the at the money and you sell both options. Sell the put, sell the call. That gives you a rough, this is not perfect, all right? But this gives you a rough range where the market is pricing in the expected move by that expiration. All right. This is the somewhat simple way to do it. There are more complicated ways to do it, of course. That's the somewhat simple way to do it. Based on the close yesterday, that's the expected range that the options market is pricing in for Netflix to stay in. All right. Now there's, other tools you can pop up and do. Like if you wanted to grab that and you come over, do snapshot analysis, you can analyze here, and down in here, it'll give you a rough expected range of profitability. Now, with the market closed, it's being ridiculous because it's not pulling in current prices. Yeah, see it says 0, so it's not pulling in any kind of proper price, which is freaking annoying. Usually it works fine. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Goose. All right, reset something. Anyway, there we go. All right. I don't have Discord where I can read it or anything, so if you send me a message, I've got my phone sitting over there. I can't see it. All right. It's kind of the expected range right now. Netflix dancing around. It does have the setup. Like that was the entry for that pop right there. When we look at the statistic likelihood of that, 67%, 1.3 profit factor, 18 trades, which is not statistically significant, but it might work out. As we've been talking about all week, pretty much these trades, when they fire off, 74.7 something, basically round off to 75% likely once they trigger the entry to go right up to the first target right there at that 1.1448. Now, continue on with the theme. Everybody's kind of wanted to see trades that were set up to potentially work. I didn't particularly care for the list today, so I didn't actually set this up ahead of time. But roll down here and grab the list. It's not very many. It's only a couple. Copy. I just want to copy. I don't want to copy all of it. I just want to copy. Add a symbol. So for anybody that's wondering how you add a bunch of tickers, like that's how you do it. You just comma separated, right like that. Boom, tickers on the list. So we have these setups right here. This one already looks marginal. It looks like a SPAC, Bally's Corporation. There's the high, there's the low. We did fire off a potential entry right there for that move to 1950. Probably wouldn't touch it. Probably wouldn't mess with that one. SIVR, that's Aberdeen's physical silver. You can see these 50% and a negative profit factor. Not the one that makes me feel so good. Now, none of these will kick off till the open. So there was the close yesterday. You won't see the actual entry until the open. We're still in the pre-market for one more minute. So 33.60. SLV set one up also. Very cautious on silver right now for me. This is another 61% likely and a negative profit factor. 32 on the upside. SPH. This one not much better. You've got 30 trades, so statistically significant, 60% and a negative profit factor. So this did fire off here. It'll be an entry at the open and 22.87 up there. UGI, yet another one with a marginal profit factor, or like that's normal. 52 trades, that's pretty. It's actually bang on the historical rate, but a negative profit factor. That's the downside, is that the losses are big for UGI. There you go. That, see, buy kicked off right there. And UTF. Have to go look at that UNH in a second. Here's the high, here's the low. Kicking it off. There's the upside right there at 26, 62% and 0.5. So there's the setups. UNH. Oh, baby. Glad I bought that put. Come to Papa. That looks so beautiful. It's beautiful. I may book that profit on that put. I mean, that's gonna be money. Money, honey. Anyway, I sold a put. I was like, this looks too perfect. Sold it right here. Well, I think I sold it on that right there. Didn't want to see it come across. We stepped across the line, but we quickly got back down. And then look at that. Look at that. Oh, baby. That's a measured bounce down, is what that was. Beautiful. Guess disappointed on earnings, I guess. Oh well. Yeah, down 100. Nice. All right. If anybody took that one, you probably should consider closing it. Just saying. Consider taking your profit. Although, looking at the S&P, still set for downside, as we've talked about. And S5TW back below 20. S5FI dip back below 20. And S5, rewind yesterday morning. I was like, well, these all may need a double dip. Guess what? Here's the double dip. May continue for into next week, possibly. I don't think the downside's done here, although we did scrape the target. Till we get back up, look at that. That's just a 15-minute roadmap bounce from below. Get back below that 618, probably going lower low. It's just like this. There's the high, there's the low. Watch for that 5,300 area. Start getting below it. Set the stage for a drop on down to 5,240. And potentially an extension on down. Possibly down here to 5,180, 5,100, 5,000. Yeah. Can't make this stuff up sometimes. So this one, not quite participating as much here. We've got that high, as long as we're below it. Got this potential downside setup. To go revisit this area right down in here. And we could come back up for a 618 retrace before we come on down. Just corrective junk. That's what that. Both the cash and the futures are under the 15-minute roadmap line with downward pressure. ES coming up, SPX coming down a little bit. See what happens. In Q, downward pressure here also. Russell, a little more muddy on the pattern. Not clear. Oil. And we might go retest the daily roadmap line. That'd be a trip. We did break out of that little mini consolidation there. Could shoot back up. This could shoot back up pretty quickly. Back up to the roadmap line. And then come back down again. We get above. Look for it to back test and then go higher. So we either do path number 1, which is more likely since we're under the roadmap line, or path number 2, which would be the more bullish, going to reverse from here pattern. Now, this was a downside target. This could be it. I'm not convinced until we set up a bullish pattern, which would be number 2 up here. It's got to prove it to me, all right? Like, I'm not very convinced that this is done on the downside until we get through. So this is what, gotta see this right here. Gotta see it, gotta see it, gotta see it. If we're going to do bullish price action, we've got to get through this roadmap line right there on the daily. Low time frames, be like, well, it's showing reversal. Yeah, if you want to trade off the 1 minute, that setup occurred back here. We popped up through and retested and started getting continuation up. I was back on Thursday, yesterday, whole 1 day away. And the 5 minute here hasn't been very clear. We've been muddying that up till we busted up. And that would have been made me like a nervous cat right there the whole time. And 15 minutes. And indicated we might reverse. Bounce, didn't get continuation. Haven't gotten continuation. So the 15 minute hasn't confirmed we're going to reverse here, actually, off that low yet. Still are under. We might do it. 64 would be the area I would look for resistance, which is just where I put that darker line. Then you build it on up. Then you got to get through the 30-minute bounce. Then you got to get through the 1 hour bounce, which we're working on right now, getting above. We'll probably come back and retest. So this may shoot up to that zone, come back, retest the 1 hour, or we can move on up. 4 hour resistance is right there. So that actually may be a 4 hour test. Bounce down to the 1 hour, up through the 4 hour, back to retest the 4 hour. Then we go for the daily right up there. Interesting how this all works, right? Awesome. Skags, 85% profit. Love it, man. Glad you made money on that one. GC. This has been an interesting chart. We've got maybe some squiggles to go. This is definitely getting a little exponential. When you zoom out, look at the daily chart. Watch out. We're going to do a deep retrace. This might come down to this zone down here. Yeah, why would we go that deep? It's just where the daily roadmap line is right here. We haven't been down there since missed right there, missed right there, missed right there. So this is an extended move. Used a lot of energy. Think about it. Think about it. You know, everybody talks about gold getting super hyped up because of the risks in the market right now. This is where it made the bottom and started taking off. Right here. That's where it started. Moved up, retraced, and took off. Like, it hasn't been back to the roadmap line since here. On the daily chart. It's a very extended move. Look at the 3-day. Same hit. We may come back to that 3-day. It's all the way down here. We could come back and retest the breakouts. Look at the weekly. All the way down here. There's the breakout level at 1900. I mean, this could very swiftly come back down before we go up again. Yeah, big swing in gold. I just expect 2800 right now, but that's it's a danger pattern right there. As we go straight vertical, eventually we're probably coming back. Right? There's no getting out of orbit, you know, for these things. We're not just gonna leave the atmosphere and, you know, not come back down. Gravity on these charts is always present. You know, like, there's no way gold ever comes back. Good luck with that. Not without a retrace, probably. We need a retrace before it comes back up. BTC, I mean, this is a perfect chart too. Perfect example. Let's go to the all-time history. It's a perfect example right here. All the way back to the beginning, right? We started out on Bitcoin back here. Made some giant moves, made some big, you know, look, it started out crazy. Look, started out, giant retrace, lower low. Then we came back up, and then we did another retrace. Look at that, right back down here. I just want to show you, even without the halving events, that right there was a 45% pullback. Then we run up to the first halving event in 2012. It's just like a bubble pattern, right? There's your first one, 92% pullback. Right, this is the way these things work. So you've got this high, you've got this low. Check this out. Next run, 686. Isn't that crazy? Let me put it on log mode so it actually looks better. There you go. That high, that low, Actually hit the 1618. And then it hit the 272. Right? Hit the 1618, retraced up to the 272. Beautiful. But then another retrace. This retrace. Ooh, 86%. That was ugly, right? Doesn't look like giant, but 86% pullback. Got even deeper right here. So we got to grab the fib tool from that high down to this low. Put it on there. Moving on. Next halving event. And we go on a run. Got to the first targets. Stopped a little bit. Next target, 1618. 272. 2.272. And that was the end of the move. Big deep retrace again. Look at this one. This one. There's the high. Here's the low. 83% pullback again. Repeatable pattern, right? Here's the high. Here's the low. And we're at 2018. Next halving event. Kick it off. A little bit of pause at the 1.272. A lot of bit of pause at the 1618. Uh-oh. Didn't make it to the 272. Stopped. Ran out of gas. And we retraced. There's that high. Here's this low down in November. 77% retrace. Didn't quite go as deep. Didn't get that 80%. Run the fib line. Here's the high. Here's the low. And here's more current price action on Bitcoin. Delete a couple things as I go. Pushing up higher. There's we hit the all-time high and stopped there for a number of months. Then we pushed on up to the 1272. Stopped there. Retraced. Retesting the back breakout. And now what comes next? Now we're caught up to current. We go up to the 1618. There's the target. Right here. Do you expect the 272? That's right here. I think we'll probably stop here. Hadn't been having an event yet that we didn't, but maybe this is the first one that just hits the 1272. We'll see. That's my case for Bitcoin going higher. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Ethereum is in the danger zone here. Danger, 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 danger. If we get a weekly close back down below here, probably going down to lower low on Ethereum. NKD. Weekly roadmap bounce. Can we take it higher from here? That, when you look at it on the weekly, it's just a big three-wave retrace, right? Here is the high, here is the low, there was the retrace, and we didn't quite make it to equality. When I say equality, like an echo in the market, that high, that low, copy it, paste it over here. That would have been down to this level. We came up just a little shy. Just a little shy. So can we bounce? I don't know. I don't know. DXY. Finally getting down to the initial levels I was looking for. I want to see this extend on down to the 97 area. Looks pretty likely to do it. Here's the big first move down. I got lots of arrows on here. Some of these arrows. All the things I've said for years now. Yeah, see how we broke through, retested, moved on up. Likely to come back down to that same trend line right at the target here. Interesting. So dollar still got downward pressure. And if we break down below this support right here, probably coming back to long term. You look at this thing, typically hangs out right around that level for years and years and years and years. We go up, we come down, we hang out right around that level. All right. So I go pull everything in the pre-market moving up, $2 more, put it on the gainers list. Lily getting our rock and roll in here. Rock and roll. As I said, that could be the end. That was proportionally an echo in the market right there. First move down, copy it, paste it. Next move down. That was an exact echo. Now we're popping 120 points. If we close the day above here, probably set for that right there. NFLX was up pretty big, but now we're bringing it back down to where we closed yesterday. That's the range as of the close yesterday, as of the open this morning, or as of right now. There we go. Now we have prices. You just take the bid on this side and the bid on that side. Got to be on the right day today. The bid on this side, 23. The bid on this side, 30. $53 move at this point. Now we have more downward bias than we do have upward bias. More premium on the downside, but you add them together, that gives you a $53 move up and down from 65. That's the expected move right now. So 1,010 on the upside and basically 910 on the downside. That's the expected move. Anything bigger than that is an outsized move. Still basically that zone right there. And that'll happen after the close, and you can put that stock. Like if you sell anything in here, you're expecting it not to drop through the end of the day. Well, if the market closes, you can't close your option, and then they report earnings, and then it drops, and then the market makers and everybody still has the weekend to put those options to you. Yikes. Spotify. Set off the bounce. We get the close above the 618. Looking for that 683. Hadn't done it yet. ASML. Be careful here. This may come back down. I didn't buy anything. I'm not convinced. That 3-day reversal. And then 6 days of inside action. Just doesn't give me the warm fuzzy right there. So we're looking for this 618 to hold right there at 620. Then to break back above this high. Break through that to indicate we're going up. But right now, I'll be very careful about that. We've got FNGA. Grinding down here at the lows. Not looking very bullish yet. THC under the roadmap line. Under the roadmap line for Meta. Still downward pressure. We may see an extension down to the orange box before we can reverse. This correction in the market may not be done yet. GE Veranova. Potential to have been done. We tagged my target zone. Looking for the close back above the 364 area to go. Looking for higher targets at 46. Crowd strike. It's close. If we can get above that 618 right there, could kick off 49 up there. Let's see. And my algorithm didn't pick that up yet. So PTIR is PLTR. I actually closed my call yesterday, day before yesterday, 2 days ago. Call was like 50% profitable, so I just went ahead and closed it. We bounced off that 618. Couldn't get through. It actually, I had an alert sitting at that 618. So I just closed it. And where were we? There we go. ONC. Potential bounce. 304. Baba. Back above the 127 area. Sets up the 157, 160 area. TSM. Not sure we're done on the bottom yet. Be careful. Netties. We get back above these highs right here. Right around 106. Sets up a 111. App 11. Looks like we're still going down. MDB. Still going down. MSTR. Caution. This could pop. We have that big resistance right there at 385, 390, 400. If we reject off of it, we can come down again. Just like we did over here. Except this is a bigger pattern. We could go down even harder, faster. If we can get above it, target's up here. Anywhere from 610 to possibly crazy numbers like 1400. QURE. Nice retrace. Got that high, got this low. We can close above. That would set up the upside target. We look at the bigger picture chart. We have a gap down that we rejected off of right there. That's cool. Still have to beat that gap down to be able to get to the targets at 21 and 24. DXF, awesome sledge. Duxon Financial Holdings looks like a dumpster fire. Reverse split, reverse split. For the love of your money, don't trade stuff like this. Lily X, title 2X long on Lily, popping, but still a long way from getting a new high. Not enough candles to do any chart work. This is leverage. Be careful on leverage. If you think Lily's going on out to 1,000, this could be a way to play. GPCR. It's a no reverse split, but that's a dumpster fire chart. Watch for that to reject off of the roadmap line and come back down pretty hard. Apple. What a dumpster fire company. No, I'm just joking. Well, hasn't set up. I mean, here's the danger. If this pops up to this area where the roadmap line and the 618 is, that's the rocket ship pattern setup. That could be the result. That fits in line with that S&P 500 coming up to the 618 and turning down violently. The NASDAQ coming up to the 618 and turning down violently. That would be the rocket ship pattern upside down. So violent potential downside. Watch for that level. What makes it the rocket ship? It's where the measured bounce, 618, and the roadmap line bounce come together. That could be a violent downside. Be careful. Schwab. Potential for this to pop on up to 85. BX. Down to the support level. Can we actually turn it into a bounce or not? I don't know for sure. Can't say for sure. This could come on down to lower, revisit the lows down in the 70s. It'd be a good spot to hold. We got to turn back up through the roadmap line, back through the 618 to get that 217 upside. Almost a 50% upside versus 50% downside. So kind of a coin flip. Weeble. And this is coming back down. Coming back down here. Tesla. Haven't broken through yet. We got earnings coming up next Tuesday after the close. So during 30 minutes of awesome, should be fun and spicy. See what happens. Baidu, lower low. I don't know. Can it reverse? Or, I mean, China's just dangerous stuff. Just be careful. That's a downtrend. Haven't been able to maintain any kind of move up through the roadmap line without making lower lows. So this is a downtrend, and it may continue the downtrend. AVGO. Sitting here at the roadmap line resistance. Not getting through is a danger sign. We could take that back down. This one's a prime example right here. All these times we bounced off the roadmap line. And of course, it's not going to load. I'm like, okay, this is a prime example. Yeah, here you go. Rejection, 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 rejection. Now, can we reverse it, get back above, and go higher? I don't know. Till it actually does it, it's kind of a crapshoot. So AVGO, caution. This could maintain a downtrend, bouncing off that roadmap line for some period out here till we dip lower. I mean, look how similar that chart's set up. Right there. Deja vu. SMH, getting the retrace, had the initial move up. And the retrace, potential 618. If we hold in this area, could be a good sign for NVIDIA and the other stuff that this guy hold. Where they hold? I can't even remember. Let's see. Yeah, NVIDIA, TSM, AVGO, ASML, QCOM, AMAT, AMD, KLAC, ADI, TXN. So there you go. SOXL, same kind of, this has got 3x leverage on semiconductors. You've got that same kind of pattern in here. 618 retrace. If we can hold on to it and turn it higher, it has potential to go up. Lots of stuff kicking off there. Is it now 10 o'clock? Yep. So here's the low, here's the high. Well, I did that one. Need the 3-point tool. Here's the low, here's the high, here's the low. That would set up the next potential upside. Let's take off the downside target here. Big if we can get something bullish going, may rally up to 20. Right up in here. On SOXL. It's a strong sell, so be careful. Obviously, semiconductor is not in favor right now. Amazon has the potential to dip. So we need to hold on to this 618 retrace if we're going higher. Right on the line. If we start getting below 168, probably coming on down. Maybe even the 140s. Goose, you told me I was crazy when I told you it might retrace to the 140s, but there you go, but man, there you go. I mean, you didn't say crazy. You said that would be a heck of a move, I think, or something like that. I just don't see that right now. And here we are in the face of potential to get that target zone. PANW. Under the roadmap line. Possible 3-wave complete, but just not sure on this, man. This retrace before, put it over here. That's an echo. See that correction over here? Correction. That was like when whatever hacking junk came out, I think it was. The airlines went down because of whatever hack and whatever bull crap. I think that's what that was. And then here we are again. If we get above the 618, 220 on the upside. And potentially much more because this was the result of that. And usually on an echo, we see the same kind of thing play out. So we can see that, yeah, 220, 240. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Same kind of move. It's potential. There'll be some pullbacks along the way. The limited potential bounce here. 155. TCOM. Trip.com potentially done, but gonna have to get back up through the 618 area to indicate we're going on up to 82. SPXL got taken out behind the woodshed and shot. Wow, I went down 50%. Ouch. Gonna take a bunch of work to get that back up to 210. FAS, be careful on these leverage instruments right here. Working on reversing off that low. That was big three-wave retrace. Could indicate we're going higher. Might be dangerous. S-Dow. Short Dow. Back to the roadmap line. If this bounces, gets back above the 618, could be indicating that Dow is going down the toilet. If we break down below the roadmap line, heading back down and correction's over. So this is the tell. If we break back above this 618, the Dow could be working down. Now this is an ultra short. That's leverage short. Be careful. You may and probably will lose money. SOXX. Sort of the same as SOXL, except we're not leveraged. Holding the 618 pretty well. We want to see that bounce right here and get continuation higher. So SOXL is the leverage version and it's dangerous. This is the non-leverage version and not as dangerous, but still dangerous nonetheless because it's in a sector that is falling out of favor. So if we see this break back up here, we may get that continuation right up in here, which is not higher highs. That's just back to this consolidation where we spent, gosh, months and months and months and months consolidating. TLTR, as I talked about, up to resistance. That can take a next move down. If this was the first move down, here's my caution. If that was the first move down and we repeat that, probably coming down to the 50 area right down in here. First move down, that retrace. Next move down. If we get more flush out in the market, that's what you could see. Now we still have resistance. We did a couple gap downs in here. That's still resistance to going higher. It can spike up in here and still do that. Be careful. PDD. I don't know. Correction over. I can still keep doing this nasty stuff. I mean, we kind of topped out in December of 23 and haven't really been able to do jack squat on PDD since then. So just been churning. Churn. Now I go pull decliners, which is stuff moving down $2 or more. Put it on the list. Look at that, 114. Man, the longer I talk, the better this gets for me. I can't close it right now. I didn't go in the market with a limit order or anything on this one. I just bought a put and was sitting on it. Love to see that crush on down. I'll probably close it after I get off of here. ELV moving down in sympathy. Humana moving down in sympathy. MOH moving down in sympathy. Amgen. Biotech. Be careful on biotech. This has been sideways for a couple years. Not indicating anything very strongly. GPN. Ooh, man. Lower low. No end to that one in sight. Golly. That could come back down here. Right where that consolidation is. Cigna, probably moving down. Probably was moving down in sympathy, but looking a little better. My good friend Scam is calling. Scam likely. Anybody know a scam likely? CVS, back to the roadmap line. Healthcare. I mean, all this healthcare stuff moving down in sympathy of United Healthcare missing. So if United Healthcare missed, that means, you know, spending down across a lot of it. And maybe a reversal off the lows, maybe not. Can we hold that and turn higher? Or do we break down and go lower? Well, I just made some kind of trade. Not sure what that was. Heard my cash register sound and got the alert on my watch. Just made a trade. Not sure what it was. It's an alert from Tasty Trade. NVO. So this is at a long-term corrective support level. I would love to see this hold here and turn higher. This is potentially at or near the bottom. Now, it could go on down. Like, that's entirely possible. But Elliott wave-wise, this is at a potential support level. I don't have it all drawn on this chart. On the non-long scale, you see where we are. On the long scale, we still have a little bit of downside potential into the 40s, the lows of that pattern. But this is the vicinity of bottoming here, and I would love to see that take off from here. Now, NVO suffering a little bit because of reports that GLP-1 drugs won't be covered under whatever. Who cares? Like, they still solve a giant problem. And obviously, Lilly is not on that same path right now. Lilly's claim to fame is GLP-1 drugs right now. And it's a story of two different charts, right? You look at Lilly versus NVO. NVO seems to be that it can't get out of its own way. And then you have charts like HIMSS that were selling GLP-1 drugs on emergency, authorization kind of, they were mixing their own compounding pharmacy type things. And all of a sudden they were told they can no longer sell Seguimotide. It was warned back here, wherever that first warning was, and then here's where it actually kicked in. Now they got to come up with some other moneymaker. I keep up with stuff. Look, but that went exponential, right? Like, look, we're all gonna be rich. I saw people posting about this stock's gonna make everybody rich, and guess what? Never fear, the bubble pattern is here. IHF, iShares Healthcare, just chopping around, getting whacked a little bit because of UNH, I'm sure. Yep, UNH top holding 25%. And then all these other ones that were down. So that one's getting whacked. CNC probably has a date with that lower low. UVIX might be done. ILMN is a roadmap line extension. That's a roadmap bounce down. Wasn't on the weekly charts. Was a 3-day bounce. Could go down to 60. Where's the bottom? Well, unfortunately, that looks like the first move down. That's the first reasonable retrace, so we could actually get another extension. Quite large. First move down, retrace. Next extension could take us all the way down here. on ILMN. You may think I'm full of malarkey, but maybe like bullshit. Well, we'll see. DHI still got large downside. Oh, I brought something about DHI. I didn't even think about it. I got caught up in other things here. So let me see. Check this out. You think about home builders getting affected by China and tariffs and imports and stuff like that. But check this out right here. It's not so much about the article, but look right here. Washing machine, like clothes washer, imports, right? This is the actual machine. Look at where they come from. Thailand. A bunch of them come from Thailand, Vietnam, some from China, India, Mexico, Philippines. Now, dryers, clothes dryers, mostly made in Mexico. That's weird. The washing machines made all over the place. Dryers, mostly Mexico. Very few in China, 4%. This is what we import in 2024, last year. Water heaters. Water heaters from Mexico. Mostly Mexico. Electric tankless water heaters, specifically breaking down water heaters into tankless. Electric tankless, China. Gas water heaters, Mexico. So a large portion of the water heaters are Mexico. Tankless electric, which is going to be just a small little bit. These are electric tank water heaters. So then we go down to gas tankless, and South Korea and Japan, big winners. China down to 11%. Then cabinet imports, Vietnam, big winner. Canada, Cambodia, Thailand, Italy. I don't even see, I guess mainland China, 1% of, not very good cabinet makers, I guess. Right there. Then vinyl tile, China, rock and roll, and Vietnam coming in there, South Korea. But we go to ceramic tile, and the game changes. Don't even see China on there. Italian tile, Indian tile, Spanish tile, Brazilian tile, Vietnamese tile, Mexican tile. Maybe like a carpet. Turkey, big winner here. India, Egypt. China, 13%. Lighting fixtures, a lot of China. Good at the electronic stuff. Thailand, Vietnam. Look at mattresses. Vietnam, Indonesia, Mexico. Then non-woven glass imports. Insulation, that's what that means. Insulation. Canada, a little bit of China, Mexico, a little bit of Mexico, and lots of other little places. Then framing lumber. Canada, big winner there. Germany coming in there. Brazil, Austria, Sweden, Chile, Germany. Then OSB, which is like plywood, except it's oriented strand board. Canada, big winner. Latvia. And then plywood, which is the laminated stuff in layers. Vietnam, Brazil, like that, pretty worldwide. Equal opportunity supplier. So I thought that was interesting when you see a house getting built and people talk about, oh, tariffs are affecting house builders, home builder. That's Canada's the big one in the OSB and the framing lumber. And the insulation. So there you go. That's kind of the highlights. I thought that was interesting when you look at these home builders and stuff like Nail. Nail just getting absolutely whacked. It was a downtrend. So something else playing out here, not necessarily tariffs. So STI or STT, excuse me, State Street Corporation. It's not a very clear chart. That's just a lot of sideways for a number of years. Last 5 years, it's just been chopping sideways. U down, ultra down, leverage, be careful. Yang. And China Bear may plummet on out, even though, I don't know. In phase, are we done correcting or are we going on down to another level? This is very difficult to predict on this chart. We've been down, down, held the roadmap line down. You look at this bounce in here. We continue down to the 1618. Could it be done? We're at a point where we might be able to find some support, but you look at the first move down, the retrace, we may still need to go down to this level right down in here to finish correcting this out. JNVR, ridiculous. Don't trade this. Reverse split. This is going to come back down. This is going to be a dumpster fire. I mean, that's basically what that chart is. Dexcom. I'll be dang, I touched the target. This could be the bottom. I don't know. ALHC coming back down into the roadmap line support. DDM. Ultra Dow, leverage Dow, VXX, short-term fix, and TECS is 3x bear on technology. That's the list for the week, or for the day, and that'll put a wrap on the week. I will be back tomorrow for a crypto special. And my bias for the day, what am I looking for? Unfortunately, I don't think we're done on the downside. I think we still got more to go. This could last into next week. This is not going very fast. It's very boring. Drift off lower. I think we have somewhere down in this zone to go. Probably not gonna be done until we're down in this area right down in here. And I could potentially take out till Wednesday next week. At the rate we're going, somewhere down here. That's what I see. Now, if we start breaking resistance to the upside, we start breaking through, it changes my upside. But right now, watching that 15-minute roadmap line, even right here on the S&P 500, and we did blur it up a little bit, but we're down below it. So as long as we're down below it, that's downward bias, and we still have downward bias. Have a great day, everybody. I'll be back again tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Even though the market's closed, crypto's not sleeping. We'll go through, we'll hit some highlights, we'll check it out, see what's cooking in crypto here. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.